Okay, this time we're going to look at the Boing Box from Videonics. That's what it was called. It was called the Boing Box. It was a special effects, sound effects generator with a limited kind of mixer on it that was marketed by Videonics. And one piece that I never had, I had their video mixer, the MX1. I had a couple title makers, but that was about my extent to Videonics stuff. It wasn't bad stuff. It was actually pretty good. It was quite expensive, but I thought this one was kind of useless. Let's check it out. So I was given this along with a bunch of other junk that came out of a very dingy basement from a fellow I know that was downsizing and getting rid of the house. And everything's dirty. It came from a smoker's home. We're going to clean this thing up first and see whether this thing even will work. Now, I don't have a power supply for it, but I'm sure that I can probably find something to give it power. It's a sound effects mixer. So I'm interested to see if this even still works. But first things first, let's clean up the mess. So we're going to use good old Windex and see how much crap comes off this thing. It's going to be, well, it is just, oh my God. This is just absolutely disgusting. The other pieces of equipment I got from the same place are all going to be just as bad. This is horrible. This is what comes off as cigarette smoke. Can you imagine what the person's lungs look like? This has got to be cleaned inside and out. I mean, I don't even have any of this stuff in the house or in my workshop here. It's all sitting in my storage unit right now because it smells so bad. When I brought the stuff home in my car, I had to open my car windows because my car was starting to smell like cigarette smoke. It was just gross. Obviously, this is just giving this a once over just to kind of make it look a little more presentable before I get into it and actually attempt to get it to run. Got to do the sides too and the bottom. Because it's all going to be just as bad. Top is probably the worst because that's where the air would have circulated. We're going to pull this thing apart before I even attempt to hook up power to it. So this was a sound effects generator and audio mixer. I guess it featured a video loop through for those that were too dumb to not realize that they didn't have to use the video on this at all. That's just going to be a loop through. It's got audio in, stereo audio in, and audio out. And a headphone output, music in, VCR audio in, microphone input and audio out are what's on here. And then what you'll see on the front on the mixer, this is still filthy. Like, no meters or anything, right? Just level control. Just says this is where your 0 dB should be, right here, and you can boost it by 6 or fade it out. So it's got 3 faders, one for the VCR audio, one for the microphone audio, and the third one for the sound effects or music, depending on what you're doing. So normally you'd have your VCR audio, and if you were doing voiceovers, you could plug a microphone in and lower the audio down, and of course do background music while you're mixing everything together. And if you wanted sound effects, you would just select your sound effect over here and hit the play button. I guess that's how it worked. I never had one. I had some of the other Videonics equipment, namely the title maker. I had the original TM1, and then I got a TM2000. I think I still got a couple of them kicking around here somewhere that I've got to get rid of. And then there was this. I never got this one. I had a real mixer with real VU meters, because adding cheesy sound effects was just not really what I was into. Doing the type of videos that I did, I wasn't making videos where you needed a door creaking sound. You could set up effects, I believe, also in sequence, and that has a demo mode. And clear, you could set up effects in sequence, and then every time you hit play, it would go play a new one or play the original. I think that's how it worked. We'll see what's in here first. I will give those controls a shot of cleaner because they're going to need it. Oh, there's really not much to it. It's an empty box. I was fooled. I thought this would actually have more in it than it actually does. But it's just got the 3 controls and 1 circuit board. Let's look at the circuit board. I guess there's just 1 screw. Does it pop this open? I think it probably unplugs, which it does. There, okay. So we get a look at the power input. You'll see that there are 4 diodes here. Therefore, it is an AC input. If you look down here, there's 2 regulators listed as VR1 and VR2. And one of them is isolated from the chassis, because this cap here is connected to this regulator here. Looks like. These ones should be connected together. Right, where am I here? That's connected together to 1 regulator. That's the positive terminal. And this other one here is, where is it connected? That's this one. It's going to that one. Oh, you know what? It might be 2 separate positive supplies. It looks like maybe we've got 2 different voltages. So it's an AC transformer for sure, because it's got a full wave bridge rectifier here. But it looks like both these caps are just on 2 separate. One of them goes through 1 regulator, and then the output of that regulator goes to the second regulator, and this cap is on that one. That's what it looks like they're doing. You see here, we've got the, if we follow from the bridge rectifier here, we'll find that the input to the first regulator, right here, which is this pin, the positive pin here, it says positive, that's the input. That's connected to the positive terminal of the first filter. Okay, that's connected to our reference. They're using a Zener diode on here for our reference. The output, because this is not a 3-terminal regulator, it's actually a transistor that they're using. The output from this one goes over to the other regulator transistor, and its output is connected to this other capacitor, which is right here, and it's through an internal layer on the board. There's nothing on the top. Now I see what they've done. Alright, so our cap is rated at 25 volts, that one, so we know that the supply is going to be obviously a lot less than that, and this cap is rated at 10 volts, so this is probably a 5 volt regulator, and this one here is probably set for like 12 volts or so, and a 12 volt transformer will probably do the job. I mean, I should be able to power this up with a DC supply as well. It shouldn't matter, but it's got the diodes on here, so I'm going to go with an AC transformer. I just got to find one, and we'll try powering this thing up and see whether it does anything. It's got a green light here, and here's the circuitry. got a little MC6802 processor. This is the ROM here. I like it. This used to be called the Boing Box. And, well, so this is a custom chip. It's Boing version 1.1, Vid 919413. So Videonics custom designed this chip and had it made for them in Japan. This is the ROM that's going to have all the sound effects in it. And this is the processor that's going to do the deeds of producing those sounds more than likely and just basically controlling the unit itself. All right, let me get something I can power this up with. And of course we'll clean these controls. That goes without saying that these controls are going to need to be cleaned for sure. Adapters. I found a couple. I found a 12 volt AC, 1200 milliamp, no connector on the end of it, and I got this one here. This is a low power one. It's 24 volts AC, 4.8 VA. This is probably, you might even have the right plug on it. 24 volts, and this cap was, what was this cap? Was this a 25 or a 35 volt cap? Well, it's a 25 volt cap, so it's probably gonna, that could pop it. Let's see if it works. What the hell, eh? Does it fit? It does fit. Okay, excellent. Well, we'll try it with this one. First things first, though, we're gonna mount the board back in, and clean those controls and see if we can get some smoke out of this thing, giving it 24 volts. I can just see someone now having a small fit. Hey, should not be an issue. Seriously. I mean, if the cap gets a bit more voltage than it's supposed to have, what's the worst thing could happen? We could have some smoke. That would be interesting. I don't think it's going to do any damage anywhere else. It is regulated, so we'll give a good dose of cleaning compound in here to clean these controls, because you know that they need it. Okay, let's hook this thing up. I'll put a music source into the VCR so we can hear sound going through it, and we'll see if we can get some noise out of the sound effects. Is it going to work? Well, let's see here. I guess I got to turn it on. Turn on. Okay, it's on. Where's my music? Okay, now it's got sound. Now let's just see whether... It works! Is that how I play it? Oh, a door slam, O2. I don't even know how to use this. Clear. Maybe I gotta hit clear. O3. Footsteps. Ooh. Well, that part works. Some of those buttons don't appear to be working. I wonder if this is plugged in all the way. Let's just... There. There, let's try that now. Let's see if this button works. Alright, so if I want an applause... 9 not working. And you can, of course, have your music going in the background. Oh, I want a drip sound. Someone would have loads of fun with one of these. Looks like, oh, here, crash. $32, glass breaking. I take it. Okay, what did I do to it? Maybe it's going to blow up. I guess I entered one of the repeat codes. See, the ready light has to be on before you enter anything. Oh, you know what? It must be demo. Wind. Birds. Oh, there we go. Good old clanging bell. Samples are pretty short. Oh, that's good. A lot of good that one is. I take it you can create sequences. So, for example, if you wanted the sound of the engine and not knowing how this thing works, I think if I clear it, if I do, what would it be here? Sequence, repeat, 86. So if I go 51, and then I go 86. 57. And I want to repeat that, 86. Oh, now it's going to do both. How do I clear this now? Let's see here. Is it... So you press the clear a second time, and you can, I guess you can change stutter. What's stutter? I don't even want to know what that one is. 54. What if I put 98? Short pause. Is it going to continue to do it? Oh, then maybe I have to do 86. Hmm. 60 to 77 is arcade music. Okay. That's for the gamer's wedding video. Again. Okay, stop. Make it stop. All right. Okay, so that's what this is. It's a silly sound effects generator. I think I've done them all. I think I've covered them all. There's a demo mode on this. wonder how hot we're running that cap. Are we heating it up? Let's see what voltage we've got. Well, this thing makes noise. Feeding at 24 volts AC. Are we going to have any explosive caps, I wonder? Where is that one? It was feeding this regulator here. With respect to ground. Of course, the connections are bad. The other cap here has only got 5 volts on it. That's the 5-volt regulator. Let's see here, where's our positive and negative? That's negative there. So if I go to this other one here, it has 22 volts. So that cap is going to be okay. It's a rated 24 volt cap or 25 volt cap, but it's running at 21. The first regulator is regulating to about 10 volts, and the second regulator is regulating to 5 volts. And this is the input. And if we look at the reference is at 5 there. So that cap is not going to be stressed out too much, I don't think. Yeah, 21 volts, that's across the cap. So 21 volts, that's going to work. Probably one of the reasons is this transformer is not a very high current transformer, but that's certainly going to work it. I don't know what... Oh, it's right here. Maybe look at it. So it uses a 12 volt AC at 800 milliamps. I do have a 12 volt. This is 1200 milliamp. 12 volt AC, so I mean I could just put a plug on the end of that and call it a day, but for the demo this works. Oh, look, somebody was asking 50 bucks for this thing. It was probably at a flea market and it was marked at 50 bucks and nobody bought it. I mean, these were actually quite expensive when they were new. Anything that Videonics had was expensive. The title makers were several $100s, and the MX1 mixer, yeah, I think that was more like around 1,500 bucks, something like that. They weren't cheap. This stuff was not cheap. It was the high-end consumer stuff. So it works. I got about 20 things from them. So I got tape decks, I got receivers, I got CD players, DVD players, even an old Super Scope portable cassette recorder with 2 speeds. So we'll be looking at that stuff in the coming days. Well, let's just make up an adapter. I found a plug that will fit a jack that was from one of those old multi adapters. They came with all the different plugs. Well, this one fits, and I don't have the adapter for this anymore, so I think this is a perfect example of what we can do to make this one a little more useful. We'll just twist the wires around the pins, solder them on, and throw some heat shrink tubing on it. Polarity does not matter because, of course, this is AC, so it doesn't matter what I do here, as long as they're not shorting together, which they won't be. Okay, now we can just pull the heat shrink tubing up to cover up the pins. And then I have another larger piece of heat shrink that's further down, and we'll pull that back up and use that to, first of all, give us some strain relief, but to basically encapsulate the entire end of the cable here. Good as new. Now we can power this up using the correct voltage. Not that it really makes any difference, because inside it's going to be regulated down anyway, but just for the guys out there that are upset and screaming at their monitor now because I powered it up with 24 volts, because I really don't care. Power. You see, I really don't care. But there you go. All right, done. Now it's got the proper voltage. Now all you guys out there that have got ADHD can sleep better at night knowing that I'm giving it 12 volts that it requires. Again, not that 24 was going to do anything, because there was only 22 volts after it was rectified, and the power was drawn from it because the transformer was quite a low rating. It was only 22 volts anyway, so that main filter was rated at 25. Not going to do any damage to it. Anyway, now it's got the right voltage. You guys can sleep better at night. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.